Well, we're live. We're live. We've had a few technical errors, problems, but we've dealt with those now. And it's Saturday morning. Welcome to the Saturday morning podcast live with Johnyboy. It's all about you. I want to know what you're doing today and what you've been doing this week. We've got to say a big thank you, as usual, to the guys from ITS. That's the tool guys. And don't forget the end of tax year sale. Don't give it to the tax man. You can get it in, get your orders. And remember, ITS delivers 7 days a week. And if you get your order in at 7 the day before, you'll have your product next day. And you can actually have it delivered to site. You know, it's always chaos on a Saturday morning. But that's what it's all about. That's the natural part of what we actually do every day. Nothing ever goes how you want it to go. We've got a couple of on there. John Ward, John, John, please give me a ring. I'd love to speak to you. Morning, John and Alison. Hope all is both well and all good this weekend. Well, John, it is good. It was going really, really well, but we decided to got Paul Goodchild feeling better. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I don't know about you, Paul. Yeah, it was all going good until we were having breakfast, and I've had my breakfast, but we burnt Alison's toast. It went downhill from there. I got my glasses now because I'm going to start reading some of the comments actually on the YouTube and also on the screen, on the live stream. Yeah, it's always difficult. Every day of the week, life presents you with problems on a regular basis, and certainly just lately, I've been having it all. Everything seems to have come to a halt and ground to a halt, John and Paul and whoever else has actually joined us. We've had the trailer, the tailgate is actually gone now. Not just the tailgate. It's looking a bit shabby, the old trailer, the old Ivor Williams trailer. I don't know many of you guys actually use Ivor Williams trailers out there, but it's looking a bit shabby. The digger I've had for probably 17, 18 years, if not 19 years, if I was to work at it exactly. The Takuchi TB016. We were able to get it from the Edinburgh Vale job. We arrived back and then the linkage went on the track. So I'm unable to actually, it was a good job I was able to get off the trailer. I was just worried that when you're out and about, it's so important that you actually have good kit and it all works well. But if you think, that machine that I've had sort of 18 years. It's been absolutely incredible. So thank you, Takuchi, Mr. Takuchi, the guy who actually made, his name was Takuchi as well, from Japan. Absolutely cracking machine, without a shadow of a doubt. Wonderful machine, and it's kept me going. And when I look back over the years, the times when I used to hire machines, and more than often we would hire a machine and then we'd send it back because we thought we'd finished with it. Then we'd have to get it out there again, and we'd have to pay the actual delivery of that machine and the collection yet again. So you've got to make sure that if you're hiring machines, make sure you make the most of it. Okay, make sure you make the most of it. I'm going to go to the channel now because it's so important that I read. That's the other thing, John. I know you're watching, John. The Mac that we have, the Apple, is it's grinding to a halt as well. The processor is slowing down. Paul Goodshaw says the Andrew camera stuff on YouTube. I don't know what that was about. Yeah. So everything's been. We've had the trailer go downhill. John Ward said it's how you get over the problems, mate. The shapes your future. It's got to put my glasses. Sorry, John. Got to put my glasses on. Having us. John Ward says. Let's see what John says there. There we are. He said it's how we get over the problems, mate, that shapes the future. It's not the rain, it's the van, or the blokes off being sick. All comes to test us. Yeah, it does, John, without a shadow of a doubt. It does. All the time it tests us. Last night, John, I was coming through Newport Town Centre and I heard this big bang. I looked in the side mirror, and in the rear mirror, I could see a spring, this huge spring going across the road. And I thought, well, that can't be my spring, but it was right next to me. It'd come off the car. I think it even hit the van and chipped the van a little bit. And I thought, oh my God, on a Friday. Is that all you want? It just comes one after the other, and you've got to expect it. Sometimes you've got to expect it. Just to let you know, we are expecting a caller this morning. We had a few technical difficulties with the phone. Make sure the audio is working. I'm just going to get onto the channel now and just see who's actually joined us at the moment. Been really enjoying the live streams. And it's great bringing a community together the way we're doing. We have a great opportunity here when we're able to come on here, not just about me, it's about you. I want to hear off you. I want to hear your opinions. I value your opinions, and other people that watch this stream after or during will value your opinion as well. Good morning, John. We are good, thanks. How are you? There we are. That's off my wife. Look, just to let you know, we've actually we got the wrong connection for the microphone this morning. John says, just read what John says because he's just great to speak to. He says, it's stressful, mate, and that's why a good partner by your side to support you is a must. Yeah, do you know, I totally agree with you, John, and you've got to look after each other and look after your partner 100%. They're the ones that are there for you when things are going wrong, and certainly Alison does that for me. Just get rid of that now. We got Patrick Dyer is going to be calling in this morning from Chameleon Landscape in Sheffield. Patrick's going to be becoming a regular on the show because we want to hear. Patrick has a story this morning, so bear with me. Patrick Dyer of Chameleon Landscape has a story for us, like he always does. Chris Summer says, hi Johnny, just wanted to say thank you for the informative videos. They have given me the confidence to do it myself. Thank you, sir. Chris, no, thank you. John's talking to my wife there. Chris, it's no problem at all. Look, what do I know? I don't know everything. I'm just learning as I'm going. We did a bit of porcelain years and years ago, and a long time ago in Germany, and they did have porcelain around there, and it was a reception area in Dusseldorf, if I remember, either Cologne or Dusseldorf, northwestern Germany. Somebody's going to open the door now and let my little dog out because my little dog's coming in because I don't want to lose sight of this live stream. There we go. Thanks very much. There we are. We had a bit of a party here last night. Only family, I might add. Only family, the ones who actually live here. It was my son's birthday. So we celebrated Carl's birthday. So a big shout out to Kyle again. Happy birthday to him. Look, as I was saying, Chris, the videos are there to help people, and it's definitely about accountability. The more we put out and share what we're doing, and the comments like that is so important, because people will start learning and getting better, and somebody, a consumer that will end up with a good project. It's as simple as that. Just go to the comments on the channel now. John Ward says, I must say that cutting around the manhole in porcelain is a must to see for everyone. Learn to lay that you did on that last video. John, do you know, honest mate, the clients there, they had a lot of people that turn up for the job to actually price the job, and 6 of them come and they went. They were, I don't know, I ain't going to say, but they just didn't want to cut the porcelain. They didn't want to do it. So, yeah, not good at all, really, in one respect. They're in the landscaping business. But then if they can't do it, they can't do it. Certainly, the suppliers and manufacturers aren't giving a lot of information about how these products should be installed, because they don't want to be held accountable for the things that they do. Mark Burboyne, what's the depth of the mix and what's the depth of bed and mix for the porcelain? Well, look, listen, seriously, you don't want to be going any less than 25 mil. Ball adhesives do an exterior adhesive, ball adhesive, an exterior adhesive where you can lay up to 25 mil thick. You can't lay any thicker than that, but that's got to be laid on a concrete bed. If you're laying the depth, for me, I would never go any less than 30 mil. And if you're going more than 50, 60 mil, then it's going to start costing you money. Mixing it up and just too much it just costs too much. You don't need 3 and 4 inches. Make it up with a sub base. It's probably the best thing to do. And if I was doing porcelain and mix and ratio, well, Mark, what I would do it at a 5 to 1, all sharp, 1 cement, And as I've said before, you've got to make sure that you don't add too much water to it. The first thing that anyone does generally on site, when you tell somebody to get a mix on, they'll chuck a bucket of water in the mix. But at that point, you don't actually know the moisture content of the sand in the bag or whether it's on the floor. So you've got to think about that. Moisture, more water you put in your mortar, the weaker it's going to become because it will fragment and crack. And when it dries, it evaporates. You get rapid evaporation. And then with the sandstone, what happens then with the sandstone, the sandstone sucks all the moisture out of the water. That's why all paving products now are so thin, or the sandstone that you see. And I've said about this many, many times, and I'm going to say it again. When they used to bring all that block years ago from India, it was on ships as ballast. Then they decided they could sell it as a slab. So they started cutting it and calibrating it. Great tips, thanks, Mark. No problem at all, mate. So here we go. He's here. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Patrick. I've just been telling everybody about you. You've got a few live viewers. You've got 13 live viewers on here at the moment, and I'll just read one of the comments now. John Ward, a landscaper, he says, we usually find the weather there is enough water. It is a sharp sand this time of the year. Don't need to add water. They're talking about at the moment, Patrick, just to give you the heads up, about how we get our mixes when we mix on the garden. Good morning, Patrick Dyer from Chameleon Landscapes in Sheffield. But you're not in Sheffield. Are you in Sheffield this morning, aren't you?
Yes, I'm still in Sheffield, mate.
Yeah, good,
So,
good.
Yes, all good. How are you, John? You good?
Yeah. We it was my son's birthday last night, so we had a little roulette evening. Like we met at this Las Vegas scene set up in our dining room just for Kyle and my daughter, and we were in the house and we had a bit of fun, and that was good. It was good. So it's good for me, to be honest, Patrick, doing these podcasts now. I'm having my rest on the weekend and catching up.
Oh yeah, it is hard work for us as all, obviously in this industry at the moment, to get weekends where we can actually rest us obviously. So busy at the moment for a lot of people in our industry.
Absolutely. Patrick, can you just remind our audience of who you are, where you're from, and what you do? And we'll get straight into this podcast now this morning.
Okay, but well, my name's Patrick Dwyer, as Johnny's just said. I own a company called Chameleon Landscaping Limited, and we offer a full design, bespoke landscaping business to all our clients all across Yorkshire and abroad. Right,
fantastic. And your team, how big is your team? Because, Patrick, you've got to remember is that we have new viewers that will be looking at these videos on a regular basis. How big is your team, and who have you got working with you?
Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 5. We've got eight members of staff at the moment. So, and we're obviously looking to get bigger as well at the moment. So we're looking at another influx of more team members to join us.
And I remember you talked about that young lad the other week that's just joined your team. How is he doing?
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I had a chat with him on site yesterday just to check in on him, see how he's settling in, and just taking him away from site for 5 minutes. And he's really happy, he's really motivated, and he wants to help. So it's like I said to all my guys, they can go as far as they want within the business, and I'll always support them and make sure that they've got all the tools to do the best job they can, and as in we'll give them all the training and everything else. As a limit for them, really.
And you're accountable for them, aren't you? You've got to make sure that everything's in place for your customer, the training and everything. Accountability, Patrick, these days seems to be a little bit vacant, isn't it?
Yes, very, very much vacant in a lot of areas. I made just a bit of a backstory. I made a conscious decision for this year, especially with how busy we've been, not to put up with second best from anybody. Now, I like to think that as a business, we go above and beyond looking after our clients. try and build on them, and we always try and overachieve in whatever we're doing, you know, with our professionalism and everything else. And I've made a conscious decision not to put up with Best anymore. I've since this year I taken over my builders. I was with the builders merchant called MK. They're based up in North Yorkshire and South Yorkshire.
Okay.
And I took all my business to Travis Perkins. That said, the reason why I did that is because the builders merchants were just getting too comfortable with us. They weren't giving us the service. They weren't looking after us. They were letting me down constantly. And as a business, you've got to take time and you have to look at every hour of the day. You've got to make it work. And it just weren't working for us as a business. They were late on deliveries and everything else. I had a meeting so I've basically put them on the curbside and moved forward. And I've since then took on Travis Perkins as a supplier. I spoke to their managers in a couple of local branches where we are. And I said, look, at the end of the day, if you want our business, we'll put our business your way, but you've got to look after us and you've got to tell us, you know, and be straight with us. And, you know, if we're going to get deliveries and everything else, you need to be honest to the fact that if we're not going to get it, let me know accordingly, and then I can plan something else instead. But, we probably over the years at MKM, I've probably given them about £3 million in business.
£3 million.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patrick, I just got to recap there. So you've got a supplier that you're going to. They were letting you down through deliveries or whatever way they were doing. You weren't happy about that service. You've gone to Travis Perkins, but you were spending how much?
I must have spent with MKM over the last years. I would say easy £3 million. And obviously with the growth of the business this year, we're targeted at probably doing £600,000 worth of business. So if you look at that as turnover and materials cost, I'm probably looking at spending £250,000 business with Travis Perkins. So they need to be accountable, because that is a lot of money. If I walked into a shop and said, right, I want to spend £250,000 with you, they prick up and they think, well, we better look after this person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they get too comfortable.
Yeah. Patrick, just as that company that you've left, and did they come back to you, or did you leave? Was it on bad feelings? You know, how was it? Did you tell them?
There's no bad feelings. I've not even told them, to be honest with you, John. I've just had enough. I've washed my hands with them, and I'll be waiting for a phone call. And when I get that phone call, I'll let them know why I'm not doing business with them. But I've left it up in the air because I'm curious to see how long it is until they actually phone me and to say, hi, Patrick, how are you doing? Why haven't we seen you for a while? But, you know, we're talking about this company MKM. I spent thousands and thousands of pounds with them, hundreds of thousands of pounds over the years, and you don't even get a card or a bottle of wine at Christmas or anything. You don't even get a thank you.
That's not good, is it?
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. I went to Travis Perkins. They couldn't do enough for me. Yes, I'm obviously assuming they want to get my business, but it's like I said to them, I need consistency. I've also had dealings with Marshall's Register. I've cancelled my Marshall's Register this week because I'm not happy with the service I got.
The paving manufacturer that has the register. We're talking about the same Marshalls there, are we?
Yeah. So basically, I've been on the Marshall Register for 4 years. And in that time, we've had a few leads and things and bits and bobs. And to be honest with you, the Marshall's Register is good for contractors. I'm not here to bash Marshall's Register as such, but from my personal experience, it wasn't a good experience for me, and it wasn't good for my business. I set up my Marshall's Register with them over 4 years ago, and they set up a company profile so customers can see your profile on their register webpage, and I had the people's work on my webpage.
Right.
So my work, what I was showing, I had photos of my work and then photos which Marshall's Register put on of my work on their webpage, which is absolutely ridiculous. And now, to add insult to injury, I've been speaking to people. I spoke to numerous reps for the last 3.5 years, 4 years, asking them to take these photos.
Hold on a minute, Pat. Sorry, mate. You're talking. So they had the wrong information on their website when you paying a subscription as well on a Marshall website, and this is 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's bizarre, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And I've had on my profile picture, on my profile on their register, there was photos of work which was on my profile, which weren't even my work.
So they mix it, and so did you phone them and tell them and email them about this?
Yeah, I spoke to the reps and everything.
What would they say when you phoned them?
We'll deal with it.
And so they never did. They never did.
Nothing got dealt with. And so the thing to break the camel's back was last week I called into Travis Perkins and there was a Marshall's commercial director there. And he says, I see your Marshall's registered, because he saw the Marshall registered logo on the back of the van. I went, yeah, Marshall's registered. He says, how's it going? I said, do you really want to know? I said, I don't think you need to be asking me that question. He says, why, what so? So I told him the issues are bad. He turned around to me and says, don't worry about it. I'll deal with it. This is disgusting. I'll make sure this gets sorted out. This is a joke.
Right.
A week later, nothing's been sorted out.
That's disgusting, really, isn't it? And the thing is, Pat, we're not on here to slate or condemn anyone. All we're doing, you're talking about the facts and your experience, what you've been going through this period, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not knocking the products or anything like that. I'm just the thing is, I've not received a good service, and it all comes down to accountability. I'm accountable for how my customers are cared for. Now, if I ran my business and looked after my customers like I've been looked after, I wouldn't have a business. So I made the decision to cancel my registration, and then to add insult to injury, once I cancelled my registration, within an hour, my profile on the Marshall Register website had been taken down, even though I've been asking them for the last 3.5 years to go onto my profile and take these pictures off.
So they acted then because they felt shame, didn't they?
Well, I don't know what they felt, but I left a review on Trustpilot as well, which saying that I weren't happy. And I had a phone call from Marshall's asking me about what the problem was and everything else. Now, if I hadn't have left a review on Trustpilot, I wouldn't have got a call.
No.
I can guarantee 125% I wouldn't have got a call. The only reason I got a call and they were asking me why, what was up and everything else, is because I left a review on Trustpilot. That is the only reason. So yeah, it's standing up and saying, yes, we have messed up, we are accountable, and being transparent, and that's what it is. And I don't tolerate any second best anymore in the business, and it is paying dividends.
And I love this, Pat. So you said this earlier on. You don't play second fiddle to anyone, no more whatsoever. And in what aspect is it paying dividends for you? How is that attitude now that you're so robust about it? How has it benefited you and your business? Because
you're not tolerating. The thing is that people say, "Don't all shout the loudest, get results first." I'm not shouting. I'm not the sort of person to shout. I'm quite firm in my approach with people. But any dealings I'm having with any business now, or any suppliers or anything like that, I am being very, very strict with them, and I'm holding them accountable. So I'm saying, right, you're telling me I'm getting that on that day, fine, that's okay. If I don't get that on that day, I want to know the reason why, and I want some sort of reimbursement for wasting my time. Like my skip companies, they let me down a couple of times last year. They promised me skips. I had lads on site. They were just stood about on site waiting for a skip all day. So I had 3 lads' wages to pay, so I'd lost money. So they then sent me a skip. They sent me an invoice. I rang them up. I said, right, I'm not paying that skip. And they said, why aren't you paying that skip? I said, because you promised me you'll get me that skip at 9 o'clock. You didn't get me at 9 o'clock, you got me at 3, and I had wage costs to cover for that day. So you're reimbursing me. And if you don't reimburse me, I'll take my business elsewhere. And they said, fair enough. And now, every time I ring them up and I ask for a skip, whether it be 3 or 4 days, I give them plenty of notice, it's on time.
So, look, here we are. You've got your customers. Do you let your customers down at any point?
Listen, 99.9% of the time, we try not to let our customers down. But it's not about, if someone lets you down, it's about accountability and saying, look, we messed up, this is what we're going to do. You know, we're not perfect. And yes, sometimes situations do happen with businesses, and you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, we've been in this game long enough to know when people are trying to pull the wool over your eyes, you know, oh, the lorry had a flat tyre, oh, the lorry's broke down, that old nutshell. I've heard it a million times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to hear it no more. It's just amazing how a company of your calibre up in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, that they've lost out now, haven't they? You know, you.
Well, I care now, big time, because we're having a massive growth, and you know we're not looking just at 2 teams. I'm looking for next year to have 4 teams. So do you imagine the turnover? What we're going to be hopefully getting, and you know we've got a designer on board now, so things is growing very, very rapidly. And the thing is, like they say, big trees grow from small acorns. I was a one-man band on my own. I started off. My mother-in-law lent me £500. I was going from job to job. I had a flat-tire old LDV van.
Right.
And, you know, I've worked my backside off like a lot of other landscapers have for the last 20 years trying to build something. And, you know, there comes a point where you say, no, I'm not prepared to put up with that anymore. And when you first start off, you're prepared to put up with it. But, you know, it's like the saying goes, money talks. And, you know, if I'm offering a company £500,000 in turnover in sales, they better stand up and listen.
Yeah, you just want people to be honest with you, don't you, Patrick? Whether you're a one-man band or whether you're a big company, right? And we want to be valued, don't we? Do you think, Patrick, at the moment, with all the online companies that are selling product now, do you think it's going downhill as a result of that some of these merchants just can't be bothered?
Well, majority of them aren't bothered, John. Let's be right about it. At the end of the day, they don't value what we're bringing. As long as they're getting customers walking through the door, they're not interested in adding no value whatsoever to what we do. I see it time and time again. You know, I turn around to them and you say to them, well, what benefits am I getting? Yeah. What benefit am I getting by trading with you as a business? Yeah. What are you actually doing for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like my customers, when we do a job and we do a great job, then I'll give you something because you've done a great job. No, it's not about receiving, but it's a two-way street with these builders merchants, and they've got to realise that, you know, we're a very, very busy industry at the moment, and, you know, how lifestyle and everything is going at the moment. They've got to value our industry sector a lot more than
massively. Patrick, they've just got to value us anyway, just as a human being, let alone they've got to pass the time of day with us. When we go into a merchant, they've got to pass the time of day. They've got to acknowledge us that we're there in the first place. If they can't serve us, what they should be saying is, I'll be with you in just a second. And just out of common courtesy, those old-fashioned values that we've been taught as kids in the generation we have, just to be recognised, just to be valued, and then they can deal with it. If they can't deal with it there and then, but they just need to be transparent in everything they do. I'll tell you now, Patrick, you know that I go into different merchants and what have you, and always the managers will say to me, John, you like coming here, don't you? And I say, yeah, it's good. And they say, because you have good service. And do you know what I actually say to them, Patrick? I create the ambience for the service that I'm having because I am nice to those people. I guarantee you, Patrick, that I wouldn't have such good service if I never went in there and was pleasant, polite, and just passed the time of day with them like I do, and say, it's okay, I'll be over here, I'm here when you're ready. And you shouldn't have to do that. You know, it should come from them, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's a two-way street at the end of the day. And, you know, we've got busy schedules just as anybody else, and nobody's as busy as anybody. Everybody's busy, you know, and at the end of the day, they should respect the fact that you're going in there and spending the money. It is a tricky one because I think with the big surge with product demand and materials and everything else during COVID, because obviously there were a lot of DIYers at home wanting to get materials and everything else. I think the builders merchants what kept open were just chasing money. They were just chasing the profit margins. They weren't actually looking at the customer service, and they were just chasing the money down wherever they could. And yeah, as a business, they have got to do that. But I think also as well, they need to remember that, you know, they're dealing with people, so the people skills. They need to really look at the people skills and how they appreciate the customers. You know.
Do you think that's their customer service, their training is gone downhill?
I think the problem is because a lot of these big businesses and they run on such tight profit margins and wage costs and everything else. You can always guarantee whenever you walk into a builder's merchant or you're walking around a big DIY store, there's hardly any staff around. They're running on minimum staff all the time, and that's down to not meeting demand. You know, we all know about meeting demand at the moment, but I think sometimes you just got to be honest and just say, look, we can't meet the demand. It's like at the moment with our clients, we're saying to our clients, sorry, we're not taking any more bookings on until we've got rid of the backlog. But at least you're not putting them in a full soap or saying to them, yes, we'll call you, blah, 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 blah. And then you can't reach that because you've got to be realistic.
Yeah, are we, Patrick, are we sort of becoming sort of just fed up and giving up with these people and moving on to somewhere else and hope that somebody else will give us the service that we're looking for?
Well, I think there is some good companies out there, and there is some good independent companies out there. But I think also as businessmen and women and people who are in our trade, we don't need to be putting up with second best. If we're not happy with the service, what we're getting from suppliers, from stockists or whatever, speak up, because that's what I'm doing and I'm getting results.
Yeah, what would you say now, Patrick, if a supplier was listening to this live stream now, and they will do, they'll watch it, they're intrigued in what we're actually doing. What would you actually say to them? They're on there now, they're listening. Just pitch to them now. Just tell them what you want, please.
Just wake up and realise that there's another industry out there, not just plumbers, electricians, and everything else. We're a landscaping industry, and we have a lot of value. You know, and as a landscaper and as a landscaping company, we've probably spent just as much as people that build houses and developers and things like that. I would. And they need to tap into the landscaping side more. They're looking more at a residential and just Joe Public coming in and buying landscaping products. They need to look after the landscapers more.
I tell you what, mate. I agree, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to just sort of come in on this now. Right? Is that it doesn't necessarily matter about the monetary value, but they actually got to start understanding the ramifications of them letting us down and us having to tell our customer that the materials won't be coming and we couldn't get on today, not because, and they'll say, well, it was great weather, we'll say, and then you have to tell them that, you know, that they let you down on delivery, or it's coming next week, or they sent the wrong batch, etc., right? Do they realise the effect that it can actually have on our client base?
No clue.
No,
they just think that it's just a quick phone call to them, but they don't realise that the project's coming to a standstill. The clients are getting paid off. As a owner of a business, you've got to then look at getting other work for you guys if you can't work on that project or whatever. And it's your reputation at the end of the day, and you just got to really nail people down. And that's what I'm finding at the moment. You've got to nail them down and make them keep the promises.
Yeah, absolutely. They have got to keep their promises, because that's what they're actually doing. Is when they supply to us, it's a promise that they're going to be out to us, and they let us down. Patrick, what can we do to get this message? You and I, what can we do to get this message? Is like these live streams? Is that what we do to get the message over to these suppliers and manufacturers and drive the message home?
Yeah,
do you think can we make the difference?
I don't think there is some suppliers out there, and they all try really, really hard. And they've got their own set of problems. We're not blind to that, but I think suppliers just need to be honest, and just not tell us what we want to wear just to make that sale. We can then organise our business to work around that. It's no good saying you can get this, we can get you that for them, and then it don't get delivered or whatever. It's that, over-promise, under-deliver, I never overpromise my clients anything. And then when we get to the finish line and we've over-delivered a project or whatever, the satisfaction and the customer satisfaction is so much better.
Yeah, I just love everything you say, Patrick, and you're very clear about your agenda, what you want to do, and you want to be accountable. That's the thing. You come out of this, Patrick, with integrity. You're not come on here to slate a company, but you're just dealing and talking about the facts. Are we going to have next week when you join us again for the live stream, if you're able to do it? Are we going to have an even more, not that this is a negative story, an even more positive story? We want to hear probably from one of your jobs you finished recently, and how those your customers are enjoying that project now.
Yeah, definitely. We've got some really good, exciting things in the pipeline. We've took on 5 more big projects for next year, which is exciting.
Brilliant.
The demand and meeting that demand at the moment is obviously quite difficult, to say the least, but we're trying to manage that. And like I said before, Johnny, we're looking at every facet of the business and trying to streamline everything and making sure that all the team and everything are getting the right training, development, and putting things in place. But that just comes through standing back sometimes and analysing everything what you're doing, and making every hour of the day accountable, and and just getting the best out of your team, and making them part of the team and making them feel, that they've got a future. And that's the biggest thing for me. I always tell my guys that, this is not just about me. I can't do this without you guys. This is a team company,
absolutely.
And we can only move forward if we're all pushing in the direction. And then if everyone will benefit, everybody will benefit from it, whether that's lifestyle, monetary goals, job satisfaction, training and development, so it's a team effort.
Do you know, Pat, I could listen to you all day. I'm not going to cut you off now at the moment, but I'll tell you now, mate, there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to you this morning. And I'll tell you now, Monday morning, even if it has a positive effect on one person, what you've done now is absolutely brilliant. I love everything that you say. It's so positive. It's so crystal clear about how you're going forward. And I think that not only these landscapers, but certainly landscapers and customers the consumer is going to take something positive from this, knowing that there are good people, good landscapers like yourself out there.
Oh, thank you. And it's my dad, bless him, he gave me the best bit of advice anybody could ever give him. He said, we are the associations we keep. So if you surround yourself with positive people, positive things are going to happen to you. Surround yourself with good people who want the best for you in life, and good things will happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely fantastic. Patrick, look, as usual, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great day. Be safe. And thanks for joining. We really appreciate you coming on these live streams. and I'd like to invite you next week, and let's see what we can do again next week. How'd you fancy that?
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right,
and
mate.
Thank you for the listeners tuning in. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen.
Yeah, so Patrick asked just to say that thank you all for tuning in and listening to Patrick. Cheers, bud. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you are. There was Patrick Dyer. Very interesting. If you haven't heard what Patrick has had to say about his experience this week, he is a regular caller on the show. Chameleon Landscapes up there in Sheffield. If you're looking to get any work done, you need some advice. But believe you me, he's a serious contender. Patrick Dyer. Thank you very much for that, Patrick. Thanks for joining. I hope he's watching the live stream now himself, and you can see all the positive comments that have come back. Let me just go through and read. I'm going to get my glasses on now. Let me just read what people said. Hopefully I can answer some questions to the people that have come on here. Stephen Burrows, hi Johnny, I'm late to the chat today as the wife made me go to Aldi. Well, it's not so bad, Steve. At least you can eat anyway. House in town. Hello from down on Suffolk. Good to see you, bud. Lee Andy, good morning, mate. Hope all is well. Lee from Handy Groundworks in Liverpool. Hi to Patrick. He knows Patrick. Look, guys, if you are a landscaper and you want to join a fantastic forum, get on Facebook today. It's called Landscaping Survival with Johnyboy. There's some brilliant guys on there. You know, it's unbelievable. We have lots of meetups when we don't have this COVID thing that's going on at the moment. So you can get on there and you can just chat to your heart's content to people that love doing what you do yourself. Stephen Way, hi Johnny, love the channel. Looking for a bit of advice. Do you have to attach a deck frame to the house prior to laying a composite? I'm not comfortable doing this due to my house being brand new. Well, Steve, you don't necessarily have to do it, but you don't want if it's a big area and there's a lot of weight in it, you could literally let it float probably, but you just need to sort of tie it down somehow and secure it, whether you're on pad stones or whether you have those uprights and you're actually bolting. You don't necessarily have to do it to the house, but if it's well below damp course, I don't think it's going to do a big problem there. Leandy, two wise men. Well, it's not just about me. I don't know it all, honest. But that's a good point, Lee. He's bright. Matthew Cooper said, reference 5050-95578. Is it fair to say that the contractors have to increase the fees since starting back after restrictions have been eased? I'm hearing that due to them losing out last year. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to have a think about that one, Matthew. Alison says, I agree, John Ward. The service is shocking and don't get me started on deliveries. John Ward says, and I must spend at least £10,000 a month with the suppliers who you'd think they'd be glad to work. It's the staff at the counter as well that don't. I agree. 100%, John. 100%. Just going to move along there. Just read Ian Power, my mate. Ian, the one who really put me onto my ratio of mix, really. He takes credit for that. More than all, Pat has 100% the right attitude towards driving the industry and staff quality forwards. Yeah, totally, Ian. Just let you know that Ian's great at a bar because he'll put his hand in his pocket. But we'll talk about that again. Matthew Cooper says, reference, I don't know what that reference is. Best blade for porcelain. Well, there's many blades out there, but I can tell you something now. When you get a blade, you can buy a blade, and I guarantee you buy the same blade again from the same company, and it won't necessarily be the same. We actually use Ruby, and we use Henry from Elite Stone Tools. One of his blades, I tell you something, I'm getting the best out of it. Henry from Elite Stone Tools. Larry Gray, what's the best way to find in a reliable landscaper, and how do I know I'm not overcharged? I have been charged £4,600 plus VAT for 29 square meters of patio when installing porcelain slabs. Larry, it's a difficult thing to say about pricing. We have this sort of thing all the time. So you've got 29 square meters of porcelain and they're charging £4,600. Well, one thing is about supply and demand at the moment, right? To try and find a good contractor there is difficult. I think, you could I don't want to get into the talks of how much a square meter, because every landscaper will have different overheads. He'll have different overheads, and that landscaper that's giving you that price, he may have more guys and he's got to pay them, but he'll want to be turning the work out fast because he needs to earn a living. And I'm not sure whether that's the price is bad or whether it's good, but it depends how much you have to dig out. The access, of course, getting the product in and getting the waste, the spoil out from the garden as well. There are too many variables to say whether that's a good price or a bad price. Should there be an industry guideline? I'm not quite sure whether it should be or not, but it doesn't sound too far away, in my opinion. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. But if you're already underway and it's happening, it's a little bit late then, isn't it? So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Just make sure you get plenty of quotes off people, and then you're able to compare them and have a look. But like I said, different companies will have different overheads. Just going to have a look at some of the other comments there now. Get these glasses on. Stephen Burrows says, what is the best 115mm porcelain blade? Well, I can tell you something now. I have to say, again, Henry from Elite Stone Tools, very good. But I have used the ECD 115 from Ruby, and they are brilliant. They are an absolute fantastic blade. I've cut so much, you would not believe it. And maybe I shouldn't have cut so much, but it's still working. It's a 2-in-1 blade. You can dry cut with it, but also it does help with porcelain if you use a water suppressant on there. But that little 115, the ECD 115, is an absolute fantastic blade. I've cut so much with it. And on meandering shapes, but don't say that you heard it from me. If it's a nice, easy bend, it's absolutely fine. No problem at all. Matthew Cooper. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Matthew. How's it going, bud? Good to see you. Let me just see. Have we read all those? Yeah, absolutely. We've read those. Let's just go through now and just have a quick look. For everyone, big shout out to Anthony Fordham. Anthony's a landscaper. He's transitioned from bricklaying, 20-year experience and extensive portfolio of brickwork, feature work, with an odd bit of paving thrown in over the years. Since the first lockdown, I've been in constant demand for landscaping instead of brickwork, where my reputation lies locally. Your videos are brilliant. That's no problem at all. Thank you for that. Just going to read what else he says there. Just hopefully, Anthony, if you are watching this later on, mate, just drop us in a little link about where you are and where you're from, and we can maybe direct people to you there. Matthew Cooper says, I'm not even a landscaper, but love the chat. Loving it. It, my boy. Matt, no, I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. It's good to see you on, Matthew Cooper. Great comment. Let's have a little look what Tom Lewis said this week. This is the comments on the channel. Got to read them out. I want to get back to people. I'm having a problem cutting around a recessed manhole cover, which looks like yours. The porcelain tile keeps cracking. I don't even have a table saw. How would you recommend cutting it, and what surface? On what surface? Well, Tom, the thing is about porcelain, if Tom's watching this now, Tom Lewis, you get a thing called tension, and the tension is that when you're cutting it through, sometimes you have to drop down on each end depending on what type of porcelain. If it's good full body porcelain, you can start one end and go all the way through, but I would still cut down from one end to the other end. When you're going round the manholes, and I've learnt this off tilers, because you've got to remember this is the tiling that's going outdoors. What you want to do in the corner is actually you can put a pilot hole, and that will take the tension off. A pilot hole to take the tension off. And you could cut it with a little ECD 115. So if you're cutting a square out, drill a hole with a diamond kit tip cutter for porcelain. Just get rid of that. And that will take the tension off. So if you're cutting a right angle, you can cut in from one end and the other end. Matthew Cooper says, it keeps dropping nice. If I keep dropping nice comments, will it get me a discount? Well, may do, or somebody, Matthew. So Tom Lewis, drill in the corner, take the tension off. Larry Gray says, thanks for the response. I'm getting a lot of quotes at the moment. Every landscaper seems fully booked until midsummer. Larry, I don't necessarily want the job, but if you want have a chat to me, or even if you want to have a chat to John Ward and just let John have a chat to you, just drop John a message. You could do that. John Ward says access, ground conditions, drains, levels all make a massive difference in price per per square meter. Yeah, absolutely. John, I was just saying that if anybody wanted any advice, Larry Gray's on there now. He's had a price off somebody. If he wanted to talk to you, not necessarily, because do you know, like I said, John, this channel's not just about me. It's about guys like yourself that can offer the good advice because you're experienced and you know what you're doing. Just drop us a message on there now. You know, let's build this community. Let's start sharing our knowledge and helping each other, and most of all, being kind. So, Tom Lewis, you can drill in the corner. Marathon. What's that? When you get the team of cowboys from Romania, pay cheap, pay twice. Well, I'm not going to even, I can't even say on that. Would be interesting video, Lee Andy. What's in the lean mix? The lean mix is a very, very weak mix, usually about 14, 15 to 1. You put it into driveways. Kieran Bartley, hi Johnny, love the videos, cheers, inspirational. Kieran, no problem at all. Where are you from, Kieran? I want to know where you're from. We're just reading the comments. I will be getting back to everybody on the YouTube channel at some point. I try my best to get back to everybody. It's so much work. It's almost becoming a full-time job at the moment. Just reading out some of the comments on here, going to get through it. I'm not in a hurry, but it's just how I am. It's just, I'm always 100 miles an hour. Great info, Andy. I can't even read the surname. Sorry, Andy, I do apologise. Andy Sets Narski. Anyway, great information. Couldn't hear the keywords. The cement did not recommend from Juicen. What cement do you recommend from Juicens? Well, they got all sorts of products in there. You need to go in and have a look. I think they use a blue circle in Juicens, but I think I'm not sure if they're still using them now because they had a bit of a bust up, I think. I'm not quite sure. We've got a few on here on the live stream at the moment. Let's just read. It's good for you guys. It's good for you guys to actually read. Looking well, mate. Thanks, bud. I really appreciate it. Somebody said this week, was I okay? John Wood says, help each other, advise, share our knowledge, stay away from mood hovers. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, John, I love everything you say, mate. Honest, it's absolutely brilliant. Glasgow. Kieran's up there in Glasgow. Hey, congratulations on Scotland for beating France in the rugby yesterday. Absolutely great stuff. Good to see them back. John Ward says, help each other, advise, share our knowledge, stay away from mood hoovers. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, John, 100%. And, you know, this channel, John, and you, Lee, and all the rest of you, it would not be nothing without the rest of you. It's as simple as that. This channel, you make the channel what it is. This is what we do on a Saturday morning. We share our knowledge and we help each other. Harry says, nice cutting around the recess. Man, I don't know where Harry is from. Do you do all porcelain cutting with a bench saw? I think it's intricate cuts. The bench saw wouldn't be suitable. I have got 4 recess manos to do on my job, and this normally isn't an issue for me. I'm working with sandstone or limestone. I have bought a couple of good quality thin mesh diamond blades to use. They cut the porcelain without chipping, but it's tricky to cut. Not looking forward to it. Well, do you know the thing about that, what Harry says, not looking forward to it, right? Well, then just imagine what comes from that when you achieve and you've done it and you've completed it. Like, Harry, don't let it just smash it, mate. Just get on with it. And if you have to cut one again, cut one again. You don't want it to become expensive, but just think about drilling those holes to take the tension off. And you can use that little ECD 115. If anybody's looking for an ECD 115, give us a call. I might be able to get you one. Listen, trying to get hold of product at the moment is absolutely a nightmare. It's going to be even worse with the Suez Canal crisis. We never thought we would use those words again. The Suez Canal crisis in history is being used so many times. I remember the time, well, not me, but reading in history, 1956, the parachute regiment parachuted into Al Gamil Airport because who was it? NASA wanted to control the Suez Canal. But now it makes you wonder. Somebody said the other day, maybe they did it on purpose just to mess up the world trade. Maybe they did. John Ward said something. Let me just read what John says. If you got nothing to say, don't say it. Much appreciate to you and Alison efforts and all the other guys on the channel. Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant stuff. So Harry, yeah, get a good little blade, and maybe if you're doing like porcelain, it's time to invest back into your business and get a a diamond tip bench saw of some sort. Stephen Burrow says, well said, John Ward, 100%. Hey guys, just to let you know, this week somebody told me that I was going thin on top, as if I didn't know, just to let you know. Again, they just wanted to point it out to me. Hey, I'm going thin everywhere. Thin in the old grey cells as well. Deep House Groover need a small job done at the end of next month. April, removing existing concrete. Slabs and replaced with porcelain. Tiles are ready here. The Rhonda. Give us a reply if anyone fancies it. So you can see the channel works. We've got people actually posting jobs on the channel. So if anybody's at the Rhonda wanting to do a porcelain job, you need to just respond to this comment on here. Who we got on there now? Shads. We all going thin on top. Yeah, well, we are. That's what happens when you get older. It's just as simple as that. Nice one, Shads. Look, superb as always. Can you tell where the source of recessed manhole cover and the tray? I got mine from Juicens. You can get the Clark's trays, but I think that was a Peter Savage tray that we used on that job. Sport Murphy. Atif, nice work. Thanks, Atif. Good to see you on here. Liam, how can you tell if you... I thought it was a joke then for a moment. How can you tell it you have a full mortar bed? Looks like the effort was made to do so, but obviously not enough mix. Looks like the effort was made to do so, but not enough mix. I don't know what he said about that. My invention with somebody else spamming the channel now. What do you think of the whacker now, Johnny? Would you still buy it? That's off X333 TDC. Bud, it's not a whacker plate I've been using. It's a compactor plate from MBW. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I've used many different sort of compactor plates over the years. And the MBW, if you're looking for a compactor plate, if you phone up, speak to Jade or Greg in Manchester, MBW, and you mention me, you'll get a discount. So get on there and have a look. Shad says, do they have Clark's trains on eBay? They have Clark's. See, this is how it works. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. They have Clark's trains on eBay. Check it out. Now, Jard says, nice job, Johnny. Looks very smart. Where can I buy those good-looking cedar cladding screen, please? Well, I bought those, the cedar ones, off Chris Trendle. I don't know if he's able to get those at the moment. Sean Conway, great job. Looks great. I'm not reading about me. I'm just reading what people say because I want to get back to them. I want to give them a shout out. Harvey White said, what do people roughly charge for porcelain per square metre where you're at? Well, I just don't know, Harvey. This is what we say. We don't know what people are charging per square metre up and down the country because there are just too many variables. Have you got a link for the cutter? Yes, we have. Paul, I'll be getting to Paul Perrin. If you're watching this live stream this morning, and I will get back to you on there, we have got a link for that. Love the tiles, Johnyboy. What are they? Well, love the tiles. What are they? Well, those tiles were, the customer had bought them from Stone Market, and they've been nice. The outer one was Italian, the light grey. The inner one was Polish. It was Polish, and it was stamped on the back. Larry Gray says, how does a young man get into landscaping? Are there college courses for it or certification required? Well, that's the thing about landscapers. Landscapers have never been really accredited, but there are NVQ courses out there and BTEC courses you can get on and you can get some sort of qualification. But what a lot of guys do, they start going on the groundworks, doing the curbing and all that sort of thing, and then start moving on, whether they want to stay in civils or whether they want to go off. I don't know if John Ward's still on here now, but John says, I love John. Top work again, mate. Looks lovely. Great tip with a capillary. Did you see the capillary thing this week? That was from Elite Stone Tools. So important that you get that little capillary groove, the drip for underneath. You'd want the water going back and running down the face of your riser or the face of that cladding. If anything is overhanging, you should be putting a capillary groove on it like they used to years ago. So what I done, I cut it with a ruby, John, in this case, and then what I done, I had that little, John, honest, it went through really, really easy. It was an absolute fantastic. That's Elite Stone Tools. I think it's, I think Henry's put a link on there. It's just what they call a fluting wheel. That's what it was called, John. A fluting wheel. What a lovely name. A fluting wheel. we just use to stick double cut down for that. That's what I did, John, initially. That I'll get me one of these discs. Nice detail around the eco drain, mate. Well thought out. Blessed are the weather gods this week, John. Keep it up. The stuff, mate. Learning and working always. Yeah, we never stop learning, do we? Every day it's just every day's a learning curve, no matter what we do. As soon as we get up in the morning. Hey guys, I don't want to finish on a negative, but I have a concern that we have these periods during the economy where we do it downturns, and I gotta say it, I think that downturn is going to come, but it is going to happen because we have natural downturn. But the marketplace, it is going to want us to get back and vibrant again. It's going to take off. But I'm just a bit concerned at the moment about the people that are doing this trade, playing this trade out there at the moment, and whether they're doing a good job or whether they aren't doing a good job. As I always say, if you need any advice, just drop us an email. If I can get back to you, I will. If I can't, I apologise. There's so much going on here. This has been becoming a full-time job. Just going to read what Steve Burrows says there. Stephen Burrows says, landscapers are the best trade as they do everything, groundworks, bricklaying, tiling, plastering, carpentry. I agree with you. And they can be just as good as anybody applying that trade on an individual one. Kieran Bartley says, I am Kieran's daughter. My birthday on Wednesday. Wish you could come and do my garden. I am having a yes day today. I am turning 8. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I am Kieran's daughter. Kieran's daughter, you haven't even told us what your name is. Tell me what your name is. We just want to wish you a very happy birthday. Have a great day. Take care. All the best. Yeah, just let us know what your name is. Shad says, John, for laying on concrete base, what's the depth of bed you recommend? Again, I think the thing is, Shads, what you got to remember is if you're laying on a concrete bed, you want to SBR that concrete so the concrete doesn't suck all the moisture down from the bottom, pulling all the moisture out of that mortar. So make sure you do that. And I always put a little bit of SBR as well in the mix, or you can still put the prime slurry so it adheres to the slab, whatever you're using. Freya, happy birthday. Have a great day, and I hope you get absolutely spoiled. Fantastic. Isn't it great when we have that? It just shows how the channel's building and what a nice channel it is. And it's good that the young ones are watching. Happy birthday, Freya. Have a great day. If you want to send me an email and a picture of your birthday cake, that would be great. It'd make my day. That's it. The live stream is over. I need a cup of tea. I got to have a rest. I've got lots to do. I've got to fill a skip on my own garden. Just to show you, we have, Alison has been working very hard. This is the little Sony ZV. Look at that. Absolute fantastic little vlogging camera. I can't even turn it on at the moment. I don't even know how that works. She'll show me. I'm sure she will. Look at that. Brilliant little camera. Great audio with this. Did you see the difference today, John, with the videos this week with the camera, the iPhone? Absolutely fantastic. The quality, I thought. I don't know what you actually thought. John Ward says, great vlog again, John. Johnyboy, much respect for you and your family. Have a good weekend. And you too, John, to your family as well. Have a great weekend. And most of all, have a safe weekend. And as I say to everyone, just be kind and be safe. Take care. See you next week.